you're really going to have to try and hold out on point A first and foremost.
Clear the Comms, by the way, has switched sides. They are going to be the team now that will be attacking, or sorry, they will. No, they will be. Okay, so
it's the same sides. We're good.
You know what? It's funny because they like sort of switch sides, and then I think they switch back. I think they just gave me the great debate.
Yeah, that would do it.
And you know, now I got to correct things on the paper that I look at when I forget things and have to recorrect it. Regardless, so we get to see them attack first for Clear the Comms. Defending, you said the bunker comm could be a possibility. Yeah. Well, not Critical Mask isn't hiding the fact that that's what they're going to do. They're going to go with a bunker comp with Baptiste. So, we get to see the new hero played here in Open Division is the nice thing.
The hero I'm most focused on this defense is actually the Hanzo. That's a very odd choice. If you're going to run projectile spam to couple with this, you generally speaking want to run the Pharah because the Pharah is a little bit more self-sufficient. It's hard for a GOATS composition, be it Winston or Reinhardt, to pin the Pharah down. The Hanzo's a little bit more vulnerable.
Playing out a bit away from the team too, at least at the start, just to try and get some early arrows on, get some early percentage. Didn't really get much though, just got to about 20%. They found their first target, and it's going to be the Lucio though who falls. They were targeting the Brigitte. Big anti-nade coming out as well. The Orisa has dropped down, though. A little bit of an interesting decision to do that, but it ends up working out, at least for the moment. They're able to spam down part of this shield of the Reinhardt, but now they're getting caught from behind because they took too long. So losing their high ground advantage will cost them this point.
And see, that's one of the reasons we don't really see teams take up the bunker on that first high ground. You usually see them hole up in Cafe, because when you drop down on the low ground, you can peel back behind cover. Your Diva can come and recontest the point, trade out with you if you're the Orisa. Now, not Critical Mass, going to be switching over to that Winston 3-3, but they've given up a lot of ult charge, and the time bank is looking pretty for Clear the Comms.
Yeah, this is something that I, before I was confused because I didn't see the team switch back, I was going to say, the one thing if they do run a bunker is they do give up a lot of ult charge if they lose it, which is exactly what has happened here. So now they have to try and win a fight at an ultimate disadvantage to even have the opportunity. But it looks like, the sleep goes on to Gara, but Gara is able to come back into this fight anyways, and now we'll be able to use this nano boost to create some space. So don't really win a fight there, but you create space with an ultimate nonetheless, and now the grab will win the fight for you. Anti-nade out. Not going to be able to do enough, though.
Well, Cryptic Force does have that nano on him, so he is trying to find value in the backline, but one Winston against the world, that's a story we've seen time and time again. I'll give you a hint. It doesn't work out well for the Winston generally. And this is not an exception to that Cryptic
rule.
Force staying alive, though.
Yeah, give him credit. Oh, he almost got on top of the building. He might. He does get out. So he will get out. So there is some ult charge for his team to gain. He does get a Primal Rage as well. And then the stun comes out to Gara as he was about to use his Earth Shatter. So now opportunity created by not Critical Mass. So that nano boost that was used at the end of a lost fight could turn into a win here on the next fight if they can find their first elimination and give themselves that advantage. Self-destruct thrown up into the air. The shield does come out, blocks all the players, so they're able to avoid it, but it did force them back. And his sound barrier was used in response. So now they have another nano boost, though, from Filthy Pleb, and they get their first elimination onto Cryptic Force. Can only live so long before you lose your life. And now they get pulled into a grab, but doesn't matter. Rallies use that exactly the same time, but it's going to be a winning fight for Clear the Comms.
Yeah, ultimately, they did a good job of disengaging there when the self-destruct came out. They managed to weather the storm of the actual impactful ultimates and work their way back in here. It was actually funny watching Gara at the beginning because he was just getting stunned, booped around, thrown around by the Winston, stunned again, and then he just had to back up, and he was like, okay, well, that was an unpleasant 30 seconds of Overwatch, but ultimately his team does win that out, and he's got another Shatter online already. Now, Critical Mass is going to swap over to the Reinhardt, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky for him to land this.
A lot easier, though, when you have a lot less space for these players to go onto, right? So, the give and take of how the ultimates can go with different heroes that are in there. But Cryptic Force gets stunned out. Perfectly timed with his Brigitte, allows for that shatter to come through. Not enough follow-up is the only problem. There's a nano-boosted Reinhardt that wasn't allowing them to do that. But that's okay because they're still able to fight their way through it. Cryptic Force has to be careful, though. Almost getting caught out himself. His shatter pretty good. Self-destruct coming through. Sound barrier used in response, but the Lucio can't get back into it anyways. And now there's an opportunity for Not Critical Mass to stop this push dead in its tracks. Especially if they can follow up on this Graviton Surge. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to, but they're still in a position of control.
You know, you put it perfectly at the beginning there. It all started with that Bash Shatter that was denied by the fact that Cryptic Force was too much of a threat for Clear the Comms to walk forward. After that, it was just Not Critical Mass peeling back. Clear the Comms are the ones who had to get aggressive, and they didn't have any tools afterwards to do so. Now, they're going to have a Grav Bomb, so as long as this Graviton doesn't get eaten, there's a very good chance, and there it is.
So the Graviton Surge thrown into the corner, self-destruct into the air. Can't save everybody with the shield for Cryptic Force, so now Clear the Comms with their opportunity to push forward. Shatter does come through, slows down their push into the rest of this team, but it's still not going to be enough for Not Critical Mass. They're still going to lose the fight.
Now, it's a pretty good time bank heading into this last push. Still 240, and all Clear the Comms have to do is win one fight. They're going to have a nano, so they could nano either Frown or Gar, work their way up to a win condition ultimate. It's certainly possible here, but they've got to worry about this grab. They don't have a support online. Ocean could chuck this in for free as long as it doesn't get eaten.
Well, he throws it in for free, like you said, no problems there, and they have the cleanup into it as well. So Not Critical Mass doing what they needed to in this next fight, stall things out a little bit longer. Still 2:10 left on the clock for Clear the Comms.
More than enough time, and Clear the Comms, you didn't use any ultimates during that fight, so you're fine with pulling the Graviton pulling the Graviton out of the enemy team. It's not the most efficient fight for you to take, but you've got more than enough time to work your way back in here, come back with ultimates of your own, although you've got to dodge this out. Should be easy enough.
Yeah, easy enough, but they do get a couple that get hit by the Shatter is the only problem after that. Now the Nano Boost on to both of these Reinhardt swinging their way in. Use of an anti-nade coming through as well, but it's quickly cleansed by the bubble, though, of the Zarya. So Clear the Comms with an advantage, starting to push their way forward, but now the rally should allow for Not Critical Mass to push their way back in. Stun coming out onto Charlemagne, but the rally's still alive. Graviton Surge thrown in by both teams. Self-destruct a little bit late here, but it will try and keep players away, but not well enough. Not Critical Mass still in a position to keep this in their favor.
Not Critical Mass did a very good job of disengaging while poking at Clear the Comms, right? So they give up a degree of space to the payload, but don't really give up a meaningful position. They keep their full health bars, and Clear the Comms were down to about half across the board, so it was easy to push back in here. Now coming back in, it's still more ults online for Not Critical Mass. That sound barrier could make it very easy, and Cryptic Force almost has another shatter, excuse me.
So Cryptic Force with that could be one of the big determining factors. Gara with his as well gets a bubble here a little bit early on to try and get some ult charge for his Zarya, which now is pretty high charged in Frown. Shatter, Bash is coming out looking for Shatter opportunities. Neither come. Boots into the air, but not high enough to allow for the Shatter. Cryptic Forces is better, and they do get one charge in to get Gara out of the fight. And this is not going the way of Clear the Comms. Not Critical Mass. Just a few more players left to clear with 7 seconds left to go.
Cryptic Force got Clifford in that 180 shatter. Clifford's back now, but the sound barrier only connects onto 2. It's curtains here for the offense.
Graviton Surge pulling everyone else away. Overtime meter starts to go. Rally back in to try and save it for Clear the Comms, but it won't be enough. Those players fall. The Moira won't be able to get back in time. Too much body blocking. And just short of that final point is the push for Clear the Comms. So now Not Critical Mass. They have their win condition to even this up 1-1.
The Ana working out rather well for Not Critical Mass. It's generally a risk to run the Ana in GOATs when you can have the Zen, you can just get consistent Discord damage down. It deals so much damage, but Dollar is doing a very good job of finding Bionades at the right times, and the target focus from Clear the Comms is just a little bit too sloppy in these Gravitons to follow up regardless. So Dollar doing a very good job of healing his team up, keeping them all alive. Gotta see what these teams are opting to run as they move out here on the offense. Likely going to be goats from Clear the Comms, but they could surprise us.
I was gonna say, do you think that Clear the Comms played into the hand of Not Critical Mass because they were also running the Ana as well?
I certainly think it would have been advantageous for them to switch over to that Zen, but it doesn't really seem like that's a flavor either of these teams are especially comfortable showing us right now. They like the Ana, they like those Bionades. It's very nice to just see the huge purple go down on the enemy team and know that you can push forward without anything to worry about. Now, coming out on their defense, they're running a rather interesting composition. Okay, that's a little bit more... Okay. So it'll be the Rhines... I'm just waiting to see now. It'll be the Rhine Zarya with the Widow Farah. So, interesting composition. This could go very wrong very quickly if Not Critical Mass just come out on goats.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird pause, too. We'll see what ended up happening that needed that, but this is a chance here to kind of examine what they're doing for Clear the Comms. So we'll set everything out for you. Frown ends up being on the Pharah. Gara is on the Reinhardt. Mercy on the... Mercy for Cliffman. Devil Tad is on Zarya. Charlemagne is on Widowmaker. And then Filthy Pleb is on the Ana. So, yeah, very interesting comp, nonetheless, for Clear the Comms.
It's going to be very volatile for Clear the Comms, right? They have to get this damage down from Frown at the same time that they find a nice Bionade from Filthy Pleb, right? If they don't manage to get those off at the same time, it all comes down to whether or not Charlemagne can get a pick. It's a very risky composition. If not, like I said earlier, if Not Critical Mass just opt to go Goat's forehead and roll over Gara, he's not going to have nearly as much support, right? He's only got a Mercy and an Ana to heal him that doesn't come anywhere close to out-healing the triple support that a Goat's composition runs, right? Especially with that Brig pack, providing such nice burst. And it's hard for Clifford Man to do anything except pocket Frown here, so Frown's gonna have to find tons of value on this Farah.
I was gonna say, I see what I guess would happen because right, Clifford Man just will pocket Frown, right, and then your Ana is left to heal the Zarya and the Reinhardt in the front line. I mean, which Ana still does do a good amount of healing, but it is a weird composition. And like you said, it's not as much healing as Goats. There's no doubt about that.
Ocean's going to come out here and get that scout. So once he has that online, sees this interesting composition from Clear the Comms, he's going to run back to spawn. He's not going to translocate. Maybe forgot to put it down.
Well, they're switching to
interesting.
Comp. That is going to be their answer. So
now it comes down to who just finds better value.
So it almost feels like they're playing into the hands of Clear the Comms almost. But regardless, this is what they want to do. And well, when you both Widowmakers are like, hey, we both can hit headshots. Rez is going to come out first, though, for the team. Attacking is the only thing. And Frown's actually going to make the switch to Genji. So that's why you didn't have the Rez come through on the other side by Clifford Man. So we'll see if switching to Genji ends up paying off for the defense and Clear the Comms. But Not Critical Mass is able to push their way forward, get into a position that's advantageous for them. Players having to go into that cafe for Clear the Comms to make sure that they stay alive. No ticks have been given up. They haven't lost anyone else. They're back to 6v6, and they're able to get that Diva out of mech. And that could be enough here for the defense to maybe swing this into their favor, especially when you're able to get the Widowmaker out. Dollar's able to get their Widow down, but it's okay because this is still not too bad as far as the defense is concerned. Devil Tad getting the Pharah out of the sky takes a lot of pressure off of the team to have to worry about multiple areas, and they're able to get their res onto their Ana so they get all their healing and utility right back. Cryptic Force getting this nano boost might be too little too late. Throws the mines down, but he's going to get charged into and brought into a position where he can quickly be taken down. The baby diva is the one who gets rezzed as well for Not Critical Mass. This just feels like a losing fight for them the entire way through. It's just Dollar that's left, who may stay alive for at least a second, but not for much longer.
That was 2 minutes off the time bank for Not Critical Mass with nothing gained. Now they're being cleaned up, staggered, and Not Critical Mass, if you're gonna run the Widow Pharah, which you're not anymore, it seems like, you need to recognize what your win condition is. It's a poke composition, a pick composition. You need to wait, draw them out, just play the corner of the point if they're gonna hide in that tiny room. Right now, over on the GOATS composition, however, it's the exact opposite thing you need to do. You need to do that aggressive push that you did last time, roll over the players on the ground before Charlemagne or Frown can find any value.
And they're going to take the high ground away is going to be how they started, but two players get slashed into by Frown with the nano boost. He's cleaning up in this small little area. Unfortunate for the side of Not Critical Mass, but that played right into the hand of the Genji and Frown, who absolutely decimated them.
Yeah, you'd call it an econ push, but Not Critical Mass didn't really get any ult economy out of that, right? They're going to have the bomb, but that's not really going to split this defense open. 50 seconds remaining here. Not Critical Mass need to make these rotations quicker.
They're slowly making their way around methodically. Only 43 seconds left to go for the team in Not Critical Mass. They're already down 1-0 in this. Going up to the high ground again is looks like what they're going to try and do. Trying to get everybody there. They finally do get everybody around. So now this battle will happen on the high ground, and right into a Graviton Surge they will rock, and they will lose their lives as well. Ocean does get Frown out of the fight for being a little too aggressive, but that's okay because they won the fight, and their Mercy has the res, so they're back to 6 strong. And guess what, Frown? About to get another blade.
This is devastating for Not Critical Mass. You've done 2 pushes, you've used the only ult you have on the board, and you're still at least 30% away from anything else. Galdoran's going to be able to trigger the overtime, but he's down. The rest of Not Critical Mass is soon to follow.
Brown with that Dragon Blade just wreaking havoc on the players not near the point, but on the point. All that can happen for the Brigitte and Diva is that they will lose their lives. Ocean's been able to make their way back over, but it's too little, too late. Overtime meter starts to go down, and it's a 2-0 lead for Clear the Comms.
Weird defensive composition, but it threw Not Critical Mass off the rocker. They didn't know how to aggress onto it.